Hey everybody, it's Alan Brockstein from 420 Investor, and I threw out a little bit of a puzzle on Twitter today. Happy Valentine's Day. And I wanted to talk about something. I think this is a great opportunity. As most of you know, I run 420 Investor. It's a subscription-based service, and I've been running it since 2013. I've seen a lot over the years, and I've seen something over the last few days that I think is really interesting. I'm going to give some full disclosure here. Number one, everybody should be aware I don't trade cannabis stocks in my own account. This is because I don't want to be in a position of front running my subscribers. Number two, I did put a big trade today on this security in my longer term model portfolios. Number three, I may sell it. I will not sell it for the next 2 days, no matter what. That's the disclosure that I'll give. So before I talk about this was a story that made it to New Cannabis Ventures this week, and it was about a company that uplisted. And each week, some of you probably listen to these videos. I go over our newsletter, and the newsletter includes links to the most important news. And I included this news in my link because I thought it was important. And so one of the big themes over the last year has been the rise in interest in ancillary companies. And one ancillary company that I've followed since day one, and it's been such a disappointment, was Surna. And so Surna has recently changed its name to CEA Industries, and it somehow threw a Hail Mary into the end zone, in my opinion, and got uplisted to the NASDAQ. So I want to explain, without going into too much detail. I shared more detail with my subscribers, but I'm calling this a no-brainer. What is a no-brainer? Everybody's telling me this MSO or this piece of crap LP or whatever it is a no-brainer. No, a no-brainer is not a cheap stock. They keep going down. We should all know that, right? No, a no-brainer is a situation that is so cheap that it could go up a ton and still be cheap. That's a no-brainer. And by the way, one where there's no short-term risks. And all these MSOs, and believe me, I own a bunch of my model portfolios, there are risks there. What if we find out New Jersey isn't going to happen until 2023 instead of 2022? So all these stocks that everybody threw out at me as being cheap, they're going to go down, right? So why do I like CEA Industries? Well, first, let me walk you through, if I can do this, the news. I think I can. Oh yeah, there it is. I need to change my screen. That's the problem. Let me turn it around. There we go. Okay, so now you don't get to look at my face. So here's the news that we published at New Cannabis Ventures last week. And this was the capital raise, and it was big, 24 million. So this was really like an IPO, similar to Urban Grow, if you ask me. A lot of capital raised against a company that had a very small market cap. If you're not familiar with the legacy Surna or CEA Industries, they make equipment for the cannabis industry and other industries now as well. And so you can see what the capital raise was here. It was 5.8 million shares. This dwarfs the number of shares that are outstanding prior to this. But also, and they were sold at $4.13, but also there were an equal number of warrants that are exercisable at $5. And those have a lot of value. So I explained this weekend to my subscribers at 420 Investor, why it broke below 413. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. But I wanted everybody to understand, A, the stock just did a 1 to 150 reverse split. B, this is a massive capital raise for this company. So I want to show you the longer term trading history, just starting with the last year, just so you can, actually I want to go the last 6 months. And so you can see what happened. This stock was closed right before the capital raise at, I believe, 5.25, and they priced the deal down at 4, and so the stock plunged, 413 to be precise. It plunged to, it looks like, I don't know how real this was down here, but in general, there's never been a close anywhere near here in the last 6 months. And the volume is just massive. So I wouldn't be talking about something that was thin. Already today, looks like 6 million shares have traded or something like that. So let me just give you a little bit better perspective. Let's zoom out. Here's 3 years. You can see where it is now, pretty much at the lowest price it's been in 3 years. Well, you know, there's some cannabis companies like that, and some deserve to be, but I'll explain why this one doesn't. Then let's go to 5 years. Same thing, kind of soon. Well, let's go to the 10-year chart. Like I said, I've been following this since day one. I remember this up here. And, you know, I think it was sometime in 2015, Morgan Paxia was listed as buying a whole bunch of shares from one of the co-founders here at a really low price at the time. It's lower than that right now. So basically you're looking at something that's traded for a long time. Now let me tell you a little bit more about it, and then we'll zoom in on what's going on. So the company in the first 3 quarters of 2021 did over 10 million in revenue, and they had like a slight operating loss or gain. It was inconsequential, and I think they used about just $1.5 million of cash. They had a couple million in cash on the balance sheet, and you know, it wasn't a strong balance sheet before they just raised this 24 million. I assume it's about 22 million net. Now it's a big wad of cash with a business behind it. It may not be the best business ever, but there's a business there. So I wanted to explain that. So the market cap at this low of a price is, when I added it today around 240 or a little bit below that, I calculated the market cap to be about 14 million. It's below the cash value. There's no debt to speak of. So now at higher prices, then all of a sudden the warrants kick in and things like that. So, you know, be careful. Don't quote me on, you know, that there's only 7 million shares, which there are, but there's more as the price goes up because of these warrants and convertible preferred, by the way. So, and I factor that in. So now I just want to show you the last couple of days. So if you're catching the drift, the market's gone up a little bit on the name this afternoon. But you know, the market cap right now is probably about 16 million, something like that. And they have about 22 million net cash on the books. And they're probably doing about 14, 15 million a year trailing revenue, something like that, maybe 13 million trailing revenue, 14 million, not sure what it is. So trading at about 1x sales. So that's why I'm calling this a no-brainer. This stock could go up a lot, and I've shared with my subscribers, you know, exactly what I mean by that. So that's really the background, and I just want to show you the recent trading as well. And I have to reverse this out. So this is the trading today. I didn't get the very bottom. I talked about it this weekend. And you know, I do these videos on the weekend that run about 3 hours, where I go over not only all the names I really cover closely, but also some unusual things. And I talked about, you know, how unusual this was. There's the reverse split. They list on the NASDAQ. It trades pre-listing, and then it just plunges. And so let me just back that up a little if I can. So the day that it started trading on the NASDAQ was right here, and it opened way below that 413. And this is where I'm going to wrap it up. But I just want to show you, and I'll explain this, but I just want to show you what the trading has been. And they pushed it all the way down to 215 or so. And now it seems to be trying to claw its way back. And I just want to show you also the volume. It's like I wouldn't waste your time talking about a name that doesn't trade, but this thing's traded, you know, 6 million shares today. It looks like 5.8 million. So this is definitely trading. So let me just wrap up and explain to you, because I like to teach people, and I don't care, you know, it's not really my goal my goal in sharing this is A, to educate people, and B, you know, I offer my subscribers a lot of value at 420 Investor, and I certainly hope anybody reading or listening to this video would, you know, maybe appreciate why my service offers value. And so I'm giving you a little taste of that today. And so I just want to explain, you know, you might be saying, well, Alan, if it's a no-brainer, why is it? How did this happen? So first of all, it's very confusing when a company reverse splits like this, right? I mean, Nobody really knows you can't do that math in your head, right? Divide by 150. But the stock's trading, a little bit over a penny pre-reverse split. And you can go back and look at old Cerna charts. Never traded there. But there's a more important reason, and I talked about this on my weekend video with my subscribers. And actually, I talked about it on Friday when the stock was breaking down. And what happens is the people that bought that stock, I don't think they're investors. I think that they are arbitrageurs or they're traders. They're not investors. And so, you might ask, well, why, if they priced the stock at $4.13 with $5 warrants, would the stock go down below $3 so quickly? And I think it makes a lot of sense. The people that bought this deal, the $24 million deal, they didn't want the stock. They wanted the warrants. Those warrants, I think they're 5 years. You can run a calculator. A NASDAQ listed company with $5 warrants, those are worth a lot. And so basically, you end up with a very low cost warrant by immediately selling the stock against it. And some people will even short more against it, right? So I'm not going to tell you if you should short it or not. This price seems stupid to me, but I get why traders do what they do. But I wanted to explain why I see this as a no-brainer and how it came to be. So just to sum it all up, you have a company that's been around forever. Nobody really likes it because it's been such an epic failure. But there really is a business there. I think the business is probably worth more than the market cap right now. Or maybe close to it, not including the cash, I think it is. I mean, I think these kind of stocks, they're going to trade at one-time sales or higher, so it's in the ballpark. And so you start there, then you add in all the cash, and I think that's what people are totally unaware of today. So to wrap it all up, you have CEA Industries trading below its cash value, and I think I've explained why and why I like it so much. So I hope you found that useful, and follow my YouTubes. Each week I'm putting out a weekly summary that a lot of people seem to enjoy, and consider subscribing to 420 Investor if you're looking for more ideas like this one. Take care.